Now this may look like a simple wooden box, but let's just take a look inside of it and see what we come up with. So what's in it is a whole bunch of hardware, and these are T-nuts. These are the screw-in type of T-nuts. There's a bunch of holes, and they're all over the place, and they're for a lot of different reasons, but let's just take a look at it. So we got the box, what I would call the box itself. This is basically what you see from the top, and there's again a bunch of holes here. Then inside there's a bunch of metal, and we're going to show you how we do that. There's going to be the screws that hold it together. There's going to be some hardware that we're going to use to mount some vices and other tools. Then we have the vices, and these are just a couple of the options in terms of the locations for those vices. So this would be a vice, this would be a 7-inch vice, a 10.5-inch vice, and you can mount those in all different locations in all different scenarios, right? So those are, you can see the bolts are going through, and then those bolts that go from that vice into, they go into a hardware that's already there pre-mounted, so you're not fiddling with trying to handle nuts. Then down below here, what you're seeing is even some hardware that'll allow you to mount it to something later. We'll cover that. But take it a little step further, and you can add up to 3 drill presses. I use the Wen drill presses a lot. They're just a one-off $90 type of drill press. I mean, they have a lot of good drill presses, but I use these on top of here, and then you can mount 1, 2 of them, 3 of them. You can put them in any of these locations, and then you can also mount clamps on the top. So here's your, again, here's your basic box, right? And then these are the R&R clamps, and you can see how there's a clamp being used right in here. Then it's already got the hardware in it to hold on to the clamp. So again, there's some built-in, so there's some of the nuts that are built in right there, and then almost all this stuff as far as clamping goes can be cantilevered, and that's the idea, is being able to mount this little box, and I'll show you that in a second, and then cantilever, and look at, you can carry some really heavy loads on it. You can use it for, I didn't get fancy on the pipe clamps, so basically, or these would be the these are the pipe clamps, right? But you can do pipe clamps methods on it. I'll show you how to do that at some point. And then you can use the bar clamps like the Bessies and the Jets and the Ponies and some of those kinds of things. And as far as mounting goes, you can mount it on those red carts. You're going to see those in another video. There's a couple different ways to mount them. And again, the hardware is already in there for it. So you've got right here, you've got some mounting holes that are set up to mount to some of the standard the holes that are already in the carts. And then for those of you that own a Festool or a Craig, I would call those dog hole tables, and they're about 4 inches on center. Festool's is metric probably. Craig I think is a little different, but they're pretty close to 4 inches, and so the hardware is already there for mounting those. So then you just send a bolt through, 2 bolts through actually, and within seconds you can mount your MikroVice. And then there's an option of adding a riser to it, and I'll show you that in a different instructable, but basically it's mounting some risers, and then now all of a sudden you can start going vertical and diagonal with it. I use this a lot for mounting my drivers, like my 18-volt drivers. And then in part of within the program itself here, or in the instructable, there's going to be a cut list. It's going to show you, it's really a simple cut. It's 5.5 by 21, and then there's a 2 3/4, but there's going to be a sequence which is going to say step number 1, use this particular bit to do the countersink. Then it goes exactly how to use it, where to use it. Step number 2, if you're going to do this, then do that. Then you flip the board over and you do some stuff to it on the other side, and basically what you're ending up with is a couple of boards that have some pretty cool holes in it, and it can all be done with handheld drivers, like at 12-volt and 18-volt drivers. You've got the sides, the same thing. There's some holes in there, some countersinks, and again, this, even if you're a newbie and this may look tough, it's actually very simple, as long as every step is followed in the sequence, and then hopefully the hole is done properly. So, or everything is done according to the sequence. So again, there's the box. And here's what's in it, and it is a blast to build. It's really cool to use, and you're going to check out some of the videos for doing that. Hey, thanks for stopping by.